Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the St. Louis podcast. I'm your glorious host today, Eric Brown, president of Vi Media and partner at Mogul Holdings. Today, we have Bre Eckert. Now, I found it interesting that on Facebook you had Brianna.
That's because Meta, if you're verified, you have to put like your
The
full
same?
name.
What, because it has to match your license, you're saying?
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you're verified, you have to submit your driver's license and. Well, you should know
I
this.
did that.
Yeah.
But I don't have...
You don't have a nickname.
I don't have two names, you know?
Sorry.
Yeah,
You should get another one.
Okay. Yeah, well, I got it right here. It's Kemp.
There you go. You should just start going by Kemp. That'd be gangster, dude.
People say that. I don't know. That's tough. That's
Yeah,
tough.
That's fair.
All right. On the podcast today, again, Bre Eckert. This is the St. Louis podcast each and every Friday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. We drop an episode on all major podcasting, audio, and video platforms. All right. What are we going to talk about today, Bre? What, you host two podcasts, BreBre Talks, MMA, and also
I actually
the Bre
changed the name. I changed the name of my podcast, which I've done
To what?
multiple times. Well, actually, this is the first time I've changed the name of that podcast.
Okay.
It seems like each podcast kind of has to
Every
go
time you
through
come in here, it's like, no,
an
I get the name
evolution.
wrong. Yeah. Every time I get the name wrong, you're like, no, that's the old name. I was
I'm
like, okay,
sorry. I'm
lovely.
sorry. So I wanted to go a different direction with it. So I changed the name from BreBre Talks MMA to The Future of Fighting.
Okay.
And the reason why I changed the name of the podcast wasn't because I wanted to like reinvent myself or anything, which I guess I kind of do. But because now I'm like transitioning into being competing in a boxing match, and so building my brand as like a boxer, a fighter, whatever you want to call it. So I decided that what I want to do is look at trends and look what's going on in combat sports. And right now in combat sports, the trend that I'm seeing is that we're kind of getting away from like the mixed martial artist. We're getting away from the boxer. We're getting away from the kickboxer, and we're starting to see the combat sport athlete become more popular. So we have karate combat. We got game bred bare knuckle MMA.
What is karate combat?
Karate combat is really interesting, and I don't know the exact rules of it.
I went up to like green belt in karate.
Really?
When I was like 10.
You should sign up.
It's pretty sick.
They're letting that Hawk Tua girl fight apparently. So I don't know if they are. I saw they were like getting her into training, and I'm like, oh god.
We just need to set up fake street interviews until you go viral. I think that's
how you go viral. That's how you
key.
get famous now. That's like the only way to get famous.
She was on Bill O'Reilly.
She's been on everything, dude.
And I was like, why would Bill O'Reilly want to talk to Hawk Tua girl?
Because she's cute, she's funny, and she's famous.
It was a terrible podcast, apparently. I didn't listen to it. I don't listen to Bill O'Reilly.
That seems like
Just
a mismatch to me, but...
Yeah. The audience are definitely similar, for sure.
That seems like an odd combo, but
okay,
anyways,
so now it's
the
future of fighting.
Yes, because I'm starting to see that trend, and I'm starting to see that, if you're only competing in one martial art arena, then you're kind of behind unless you have a nice contract with the UFC or one of these big promotions. So what I've noticed is that like karate combat, like I said, I don't know the exact rules of it, but it's almost like you're kind of combining kickboxing with MMA a little bit.
Okay.
It's really interesting. It's very different from all the other sports. They have a pit, they don't have a ring, so it's like completely
Interesting.
different.
So they still have rails around the side?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's like bare knuckle, where they doesn't bare knuckle have like kind of a pit?
Nope.
Or they used to?
Bare knuckle's usually in the octagon.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
You're thinking of bare knuckle boxing.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of bare knuckle MMA. You're thinking of bare knuckle boxing. So bare knuckle boxing is another great example, though.
But they're in that pit thing.
They're in a squared circle, is what they call it. So it's like a circular ring, basically. And it's interesting. The last one they did, Taylor Starling's last fight, they did that at Sturgis. So that was really interesting. Yeah.
What is that?
That's like that motorcycle festival thing, which that's brilliant marketing by them because that is their demographic.
If you ride a motorcycle and you're not an MMA fan, what the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, you have to be.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting that they did that. And yeah, that was a good play by them because you're making it more fun for your fans. And so while I don't always agree with everything that these promotions do, and there's a lot of problems with a lot of them, there are a lot of things that they're doing that are really cool. So like what Karate Combat's doing is really cool because they're making a lot of noise and they're making things happen. And then BKFC, they're doing some really interesting things with marketing, and they're really good at marketing female fighters. Which that is something that I feel like has been a struggle. Is
Dr.
like
Shell.
how
You know Dr.
do
Shell?
Doctor Who?
Dr. Shell. She fought.
that? I don't know her.
She fought in bare knuckle.
Really?
Sarah Shell.
Bare knuckle boxing or bare knuckle MMA? Is she local?
She's in Phoenix.
Oh.
It looks like bare knuckle fighting championship.
Oh yeah, that's BKFC.
She won in May. She won her fight in May.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll check her out. Yeah. But it's really cool because there's so many options now for fighters. And what that does is it gives fighters power.
Yep.
And that is what fighters have been struggling to gain for a long time. Because for a while, it was like you had one local show or two local shows, and then you have one regional show, and you have the UFC.
Yeah.
And then you've got, if you want to be a boxer, you've got USA Boxing, and you can go in all these different directions with boxing. They have influencer boxing now. They have all kinds of crazy stuff going on with boxing. And I think boxing is going to evolve a lot too.
All these regional places are terrible at marketing. And it's like, that's the one thing you should be good at.
They're using old school marketing methods that don't work.
Well, even UFC up until, when did they actually start allowing them to post like the fights? They weren't even posting on Instagram and stuff like not that long ago.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Which was dumb because it's like, why would you not want to post an awesome finisher or something on the Instagram page? I'm never going to pay.
Corporate greed.
UFC, I'm never going to pay for a fight. I will never pay for a fight. I will either go to a bar where it's like...
You just said this on record, so I didn't
or I will illegally stream it.
Dude, they just took down one of those stream sites.
Yeah.
Homeland Security sees
You can... They're never going to be able to get around it.
No.
There's so many people that are going to stream it.
Oh, God.
I love...
Because it's so expensive, people can't afford it.
I'm not paying...
It's like $80.
How much is it? That's insane.
That's insane.
That's ridiculous. A movie ticket's like $8... I just went to the movies and saw Alien, and it was like $20 for one ticket.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And there's a service fee. There's like a transaction fee. I'm like, what are we doing? How did a movie get to be so expensive? I went bowling a couple weeks ago. It's like $30 to go bowling.
You can't have fun anymore, dude.
I called my dad.
You
I was
gotta
like,
stop having
I
fun.
called my dad. I was like, we need to
It's
go
too
back
expensive.
to West County lanes and figure out what they're pricing because Bolero's out here screwing us.
They're just robbing.
We need
people
Brunswick
blind.
back, baby. Now we're just everything's so expensive now,
It
Bre.
is. No, it really is.
It
though.
really is.
It's not like it. We used to bitch about that in the past. Now we're like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We complained about the prices before, but now, like, we really need.
Well, you cook a lot, so you see it over time. Just with food prices is
oh my God,
so
it's
obvious.
Insane. I used to go to the grocery store. If I spent $100, I would have food for over a week.
Yeah.
Like, and I could go to the store and get a week's worth of food, and I have documentation of this. A week's worth of food for like $50-$60.
Is it crazy to say now that you have to spend like $200 a week to like eat healthy?
That's not affordable.
Yeah, I know.
It's insane, dude.
$800 a month.
That's why people eat McDonald's and freaking
Even
all
that's
this shit.
expensive now.
Yeah, but like, people are people are not eating enough too. I mean, like, because it's so expensive. It's like it's cheaper.
Don't look at me, I'm eating.
Which, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe people get in better shape. I don't know. But it seems like if you eat less food, you save a lot of money. So
that is
is
a fact. That is a fact. Well, I always go to Costco for meat just to buy in bulk.
Yeah.
And steaks have gone, when I first started going like last fall, $10.99 a pound, which for strip is insane. Like, that's a good price.
Do you think it's because the demand has gone up?
No.
For red meat?
I don't think so. I don't think the demand's gone up.
I think it's gone up a lot because of the carnivore push. You don't think so?
Yeah, I see a couple people doing that now.
I see a lot of people doing it.
I think
dude.
it's It doesn't.
Hey, you guys are driving up our steak prices.
That is true.
Get out of here.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think there's enough people on carnivore to affect that. I just think it's insanely expensive now.
Yes.
All the way down the line, and now it's like $13.99. So it went up. It went up like $1, and I was like,
for what kind of steak?
Strip.
For one?
$11.99 a pound. It went $10.99 a pound.
For one steak.
A pound, not one.
Well, how many pounds is one steak? Half
Depends
a pound?
on how thick it's cut.
0.75?
I don't
like that.
12 ounces. Which is three-fourths a pound. That's 3/4 a pound, Bre.
We're just using different numbers.
That's 3/4 a pound. No, you buy it by pound. You know steak.
I just look at what the price is, and I'm like, that looks like it's enough food. I'll get it.
Got it. Okay, that's fair. Anyways, so the price has gone up like 30% in 9 months, which is crazy.
That's insane.
And also, the steak quality has gone down at Costco as well. Like the last couple packs I've gotten, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Maybe I'm bad.
Is it grass fed?
I don't know. USDA is all I know. Which, what does that mean?
I usually try to get grass fed, but
grass fed doesn't taste as good.
No, it doesn't. They don't tell you that.
And that's why I don't eat it. Sorry. I'll take some grass fed, but you have to.
I'll take a sacrifice in flavor for an increase in health. But
is it that much healthier?
I think it might be. But here's my suspicion. I might go tinfoil hat a couple times on here, but
they're increasing meat prices that way we can't afford it, and then we stop eating meat. Is that what you were gonna say?
No, but that's a great theory.
Okay, yeah.
So here's my theory. Here's my theory about the grass-fed.
I need the tinfoil hat.
This is my theory about the grass-fed, the organic, and all this kind of stuff. Because our food system, like, obviously something is corrupt with our food system.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I don't have all the answers here, but
the FDA definitely doesn't do their job.
I've seen a lot of stuff going on, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
So here's what I think. Have you noticed that some companies, they have a brand of their product that's organic, but then they also have one that's not organic?
Yes.
But it's the same company.
Yes.
Can someone explain that to me?
So at Fresh
so if I'm
Fresh
spending
Time,
my
I buy
dollar,
avocado oil at Fresh Time usually, or even now at Costco I go. But Fresh Time specifically, and a lot of the brands have organic and not organic.
Yeah,
avocado
what's up
oil.
With that?
I look at the ingredients and they look pretty damn similar. So I don't know. I think
they're using the organic
marketing. It's just a marketing tool.
Yes.
Organic food is mainly a marketing tool because there's no I don't think there's a set list for what
I
is
do
organic.
think it might be better for you. I just think if it is, why are we still pushing the regular stuff? If it's that bad for you, if it really is.
Because the poors can't afford it.
Yeah, what poor people got to be healthy too.
No,
it shouldn't be a privilege to be healthy in this country.
That's not the definition of non-organic I'm looking for. They're giving me the definition of non-organic material. I'm like, that's
well, they do the same thing.
Generally
with the
grown
grass-fed too. Like they'll have brands that have grass-fed, and then they have steak that's not grass-fed.
Well, I would say when it comes
what?
to like meat, realistically, you'd want to just buy from a local farmer if you can.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't buy it from companies that also have regular, like
Fresh Time steak apparently comes through this grinder thing, and apparently the grinder is not great. I looked into this because people were like, well, the steak there is, I forget exactly what it's called. It's however they cut it throughout their process.
I got some steak from there. It was actually pretty good.
Costco steak was good until
Fresh Time steak.
It's hit and miss.
It is. It's like one day it's good, and then the next day it's not.
The next day you go and
Fresh Time. I love Fresh Time.
It's the next time you go, it's like the steak's been sitting out for 4 days.
I've seen that.
A lot of their time their steak is like dry looking.
I've
where
seen
it's
that
almost
a lot
like
at other
it's
grocery
turning
stores, too.
like darker red, where it's like that's obviously been sitting somewhere for a minute.
Yeah, no bueno.
No, the one on Manchester is so hit and miss. I used to go there for steak, and the last couple times I've been there, the only good things they usually have is like seafood. They got some tuna, and things like that. And
yeah, because they don't have Bob's Seafood anymore, do they?
Nope.
So we don't have access to like wild caught seafood unless we're like a restaurant.
The place on Manchester.
If you own a restaurant, you can get it, but if you're a regular person.
Pan Asia Supermarket on Manchester.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Flown in freshly, apparently. I've been there. I've gotten some things.
I have to drive literally an hour to get to these places, though. Isn't that insane?
Well, that's the problem of living where you're living.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. But anyways, yeah, I hate it. But I don't mind driving out here because I like being out here.
Yeah. I just hate driving.
I like being in a rural area, like when I'm at home relaxing at night, sitting on my patio, looking at the stars. I love that.
That is true.
But whenever I'm like wanting to be like working, socializing, stuff like that, it feels weird being in that environment. I like to be in a more like suburban or urban environment.
Yeah.
When I'm working, and because it feels like a faster pace, it feels busier, and I don't know. That's something I've noticed. Your environment affects the way that you work quite a bit, I've noticed.
That's why people say like New York, everyone works their ass off because everyone's working their ass off.
Yeah.
Just the standard.
That's what I've noticed here. People like to really take their time.
Some people.
Not all people, but like a lot of people.
There's a group of people
compared
in St.
to me,
Louis, but yeah, no, Midwesterners, we're not known for moving quickly on things.
No, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But, if there's somebody that's trying to, get shit done, don't get in their way.
So the future of fighting. Then did you change the name of the Bre Pod, or is it still the Bre Pod?
It's still the Bre Pod, but I just haven't. I'm taking a break from doing interviews.
I thought the Bre Pod was just you talking about whatever.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Tim Dillon it.
Well, I'm actually starting a new one that's going to be that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to announce it yet because I haven't actually published the name or anything yet.
Garrett keeps trying to make me do one by myself.
We can do one together.
I don't know.
Here, I'll let you come on a couple episodes of mine, and you can get your flow, and then you start your own, and I'll help you start it.
I did 2 episodes pretty much by myself the last 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
It's fun. Once you get used to it, it's fun.
I talked about business on one, and last week I was in a mood last week. I was just ranting. I was like, it'd be so easy to be a politician. They're stealing our data. To stand against that.
I've been telling you for so long that you should start a solo podcast because your rants are fantastic.
You've been saying that too.
Yeah,
I should.
Everybody has been. You don't listen.
But
it's okay because actually, I think it's good.
I can't take advantage of more studio time here from Alex, Matt, and the team.
Yeah, you got to do it yourself, dude. You gotta go in the trenches. If you don't ever go in the trenches as a podcaster, I don't respect you.
Fine. I have a mic.
Learn how to edit.
I have a mic.
I'm joking.
I have a mic.
I'm joking.
So we're good.
I
have a mixer.
Wish I didn't have to do everything myself. God,
I have a mixer. I have a mic. I can make it happen.
Yeah.
I don't really care how it looks.
Just hire somebody to edit your reels and stuff. Don't do that yourself. That's a waste of time.
Yeah, Opus only gets me so far. Shout out Opus.
Yeah. I'm gonna start using that because I'm tired of editing.
Well, the problem is you can tell when it's.
You can
usually tell when it's AI and someone just clipping it up.
But I kind of like it.
Yeah, but then also
it's doesn't make any sense.
It is nice. Yeah, it is nice though when someone can edit it and put in an article you're talking about and things like that.
That's what I was doing.
It's a lot of work though.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot.
That's why I stopped doing it for free.
Yeah.
Because it's way too much work to do for free, and there are people paying a lot of money for those skills. So that's why I don't do it for free anymore.
Yeah. All right. So what's the future? What's the future of Bre? So you're fighting.
Yeah.
In the next couple of months.
October 19th.
October 19th.
St. Anne Community Center. Fight Sports STL.
Fight Sports
or STL Fight Sports. I don't know what the order
Let's get it right.
Okay. So that promotion is owned by Ian Zarvos and Ryan Counterman. Ryan Counterman is a police officer, and this is going to be his last fight. So big deal for him. He does a lot of guns and hoses and stuff like that. So very involved in the community. And then Ian Zarvos, he owns a bunch of different businesses, and he's just a cool guy. He's just funny.
So how many people are fighting?
I don't know.
Okay.
They haven't announced all the fights yet. But yeah, so Ian and Ryan, they run that promotion. And they have their gym hit squad, and they kind of just more do it for fun.
Yeah.
So it's not like a big serious thing, which I kind of like. Because I've talked to a lot of fighters in this community, and when I was trying to figure out where I want to make my debut,
mm-hmm.
I I kind of was like asking them like, what was your experience like with this promotion? And,
Yep.
because I don't want to get involved with people who are going to exploit me. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to be careful because there's just a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in this fight game.
Yep.
And it's not even that I don't like these people or these promoters. It's just that this is my, career, and it's really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that I do kind of does tie in to my podcast and everything. And not that I really necessarily want it to be that way, but that's just how it is when you're a content creator and you have a platform.
Yep.
Everything you do is advertised, and you cannot hide anything, and you cannot, So when I do this fight, I know people are going to see it, so I'm taking it very seriously, and I plan on winning.
Yep.
100%.
Well, why would you ever take a fight and plan on losing?
I don't know. People do it.
Well,
to make money.
I guess, I was about to say, take a fall.
I'm not getting paid for this fight, so obviously that, wouldn't be the reason why I was doing it. But
So you're saying there's no way to place bets?
No.
This isn't on DraftKings.
I don't like... I have mixed feelings about sports betting.
It's
MMA.
being pro, doing whatever you want. I'm pro it for that, but...
Because fighters can't even bet on fights anymore. Because of the whole, situation.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
They can bet on other sports, just
Yeah.
not fighting, right? I think same with baseball. You just can't bet on baseball. But it's like
people are profiting off of... People are making more money betting on their fights than the fighter is making by fighting. That's what blows my mind.
Well, DraftKings and those companies make an unbelievable amount of money.
It's so crazy to me.
It's all people. I mean, a lot of my friends sports bet every single week. And
I think it's good. There's good and bad.
I don't ever bet money. I don't like
there's
losing.
There's always pros and cons to everything. The pro is that it's getting a lot of exposure to MMA.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yep.
So that is good. So that should help fighters make more money. But I do think that we need to make sure that's what happens.
Yeah.
Because anytime money's involved, corruption is possible.
Yep.
And so we have to protect the fighters because they're the ones getting in there.
Were they getting insurance yet, the UFC?
I have no idea.
Because wasn't that Jake Paul's big thing?
So you can look this up, the latest on the antitrust lawsuit with the UFC, and you can let me know what's going on there, because I don't want to say anything that's not true. But yeah, first they were gonna settle in the antitrust lawsuit, and then apparently now they're not. So I don't know what's going on there.
So it's New York Times back in March said that they settled for $335 million. But you're saying that didn't actually go through? Looks like they paid him.
Nope.
They didn't pay him.
No. I don't think so. Because the judge rejected it.
TKO Group, the parent company of UFC, to settle 2 class action lawsuits.
Yeah,
said the UFC spokesperson said we are pleased to reach an agreement.
When was that? What's the date on that?
March.
Oh, that's no.
March 21.
This is a new thing.
They faced another class action lawsuit filed last November by a former group of WWE shareholders.
Oh, lordy. Yeah, it's potential outcomes hinge on...
Oh, here we go.
Do you think this is going to be severely affected by the election?
U.S. District Judge Richard Bolaire denied a preliminary approval for settlement in the UFC antitrust lawsuit.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Denied the conditions and expected to elaborate. Okay. Did he ever elaborate? That was July 31st.
I don't know.
Interesting. What about the election?
Do you think the election is going to have an effect on the outcome of that antitrust?
I don't know.
I don't know that much. You know way more about politics than I do, so that's why
I don't really know that much.
You're like, I don't know anything. Don't clip me.
It seems like it goes back to like where it's at, what court system it is, and what the judge it lands in front of. Because like we were talking last week about the non-competes getting shot down.
Oh,
and it was Judge Ada Brown. No, we want non-competes to be removed.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying they denied it.
Oh, they denied it?
It's not going to go through.
So
Judge Ada Brown is her name.
It's horrible.
She was apparently appointed by Trump. So And then we got
She's the one that shot that down?
yeah.
Lovely.
Allegedly. Maybe it wasn't directly by Trump, but it was by Trump's campaign.
That's a regulation that I don't think is necessary to have non-competes. Like, I mean, you're trying to control what I don't know. I'm a free market person. So the less regulation in the economy, the better, in my opinion.
Yep.
But you need to have there needs to be regulation that's necessary, like the FTC thing that we were talking about. That is necessary.
They were saying
because
that like
people are scamming
McDonald's
people.
workers and people like that have non-competes.
Stop.
Swear.
No.
Apparently it was like 1 in 5.
Don't sign a non-compete, guys. Don't do it.
1 in 5. It was like the number was 1 in 5 or 1 in 3 people have a non-compete. Currently.
No.
It was like 33 million people, so that would be
read your employer contract.
So that'd be 1 in 5. I think it was literally 1 in 5 people
so
have a non-compete.
Robbing people, basically, is kind of what.
Well,
they're
it's
doing.
As a business owner, I understand why non-competes are a thing for like,
I understand why local businesses do
like,
it.
let's just say my business partners. I don't want any of us being able to just go fucking start another marketing agency real quick.
Yes.
But if one of my employees that has been with me wants to go work for a different marketing agency, like we have NDAs, like there's stuff you can't talk about, but
yes.
I mean, your skills and everything can be transferred over. It's insane to hold someone else back saying if they got a better job.
Yes, correct.
It's crazy. It's all people worried for a lot of it, nothing. But if you're like a tech company and you're building something, that's potentially worth billions or hundreds of millions of dollars, then I can see where non-competes make a lot more sense than someone that's making $40,000 a year.
Right. That's the issue I have with it, is they're putting non-competes on people who don't make that much money.
So apparently in like Sweden or Europe, they have
you're
like
limiting
a
their
limited
ability
number.
to make money in the industry that they're in.
Yep.
But you're sucking them into the industry
Yep.
first. So it's like, well, I thought you needed these people, but you're not going to treat them properly. So, I have issues with that. And I don't think all non-competes are bad, but I just think that they can be abused, and that's why they need to go away, in my opinion.
I mean, just the employer having more control over the employee.
That's what they want. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants control.
Yeah. Yep.
And my philosophy is that if you can't inspire and persuade somebody to do something, then that's your problem.
Yep. 100%.
That's your issue.
100%.
Like you can't force people to do things.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yep.
Stop. Because okay, we're going to get crazy right now. Think about the mask thing. And I wore the mask, just so people know.
Yeah.
I didn't try to freaking,
yep.
be a rebel. But and I know a lot of people that did.
It ruined my beard, so I hated it.
Yeah,
it killed beards.
Get makeup on it and lipstick and shit. It's weird.
Yeah.
But like the mask thing, there were a lot of people that were like, "I'll do it," and they're like, "I'm doing it." Like you didn't have to tell them to do it.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Have you seen these people in their car with these masks?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Yeah, I still see them.
But anyways, that's an example. Like if you just convince people that that's the right thing to do, they'll do it. Same with like, I don't want to talk about the vaccine, but that is the problem.
We're about to have to a little bit.
I don't care. I mean, I'm willing to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
So the Meta CEO admits Biden-Harris admin pressured company to censor Americans. So you just saw this came out.
Yes.
Mark Zuckerberg released a note.
Not surprised.
So he temporarily demoted a New York story post about a laptop, just a little laptop, belonging to the one and only Hunter Biden. He'd be a good guy to party with, at least.
Here's what I think about Mark Zuckerberg.
Seems like a great guy.
Here's what I think about Mark Zuckerberg. He's been pandering a lot in the MMA community, so I've been studying him a little bit.
Yeah. He's trying to change his image. He's literally trying to change his image. He was killing it on marketing for a second.
Yeah.
He was taking off his shirt, doing fucking wave surfing.
If he would have gotten the octagon, he'd probably be fine.
Yep.
But he's not going to do it.
No.
He's not. These people, they think they want to do it, and then they start, and then they're like, whoa, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Well, he told
That's why I waited for like, a few years of training before I even thought about competing.
I just don't want to get punched in the face.
That's understandable. It's completely understandable.
That's the only thing.
I don't think everyone should do it. Like, no, you shouldn't. But if you want to do it and you're willing to, take that risk, and there are ways to do it that are safer to where, you don't have to go to the gym and get beat up every day.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that do that.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our friends over at Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a job or to own your own business under a brand that everyone and their cousin is familiar with, Mark Lee with Farmers Insurance of St. Louis is recruiting insurance agency owners here in St. Louis for their Farmers Insurance Mentorship Program.
And as many of you are aware, Garrett and I have owned quite a few successful and award-winning businesses over the years. And in a past life, one of those was a farmer's insurance agency out of Chesterfield, Missouri.
Eric and I know firsthand how hard it is to start a business under a brand that no one has heard of and convince consumers and businesses to trust that you're an authority figure in your industry.
And as many of you know, we own an award-winning marketing firm, Vi Media, the one that Garrett was just discussing. And building that company's reputation literally took years. We're still building it to this day, and it's been 8 years in the making. However, with the Trusted Farmers Insurance Agency name on the building, we got started when we started our Farmers Insurance Agency. The trust was already built and has been for 96 years.
And if you can't do math, that means Farmers Insurance has been around since 1928. Luckily, you don't need to be a human calculator to get rich as an owner of your very own Farmers Insurance Agency.
Nope. All you have to do is reach out to the one and only Mark Lee, the leader of Farmers Insurance in the greater St. Louis metropolitan area.
That's right. So ensure he continues to sponsor our show and your favorite podcast, the St. Louis Podcast, by quitting your job today and calling Mark Lee. I wouldn't even wait for him to answer your call. Call your boss now, quit, and become your very own business owner.
Mm-hmm. Visit insurancecareerstl.com. That is insurancecareerstl.com. Should we spell it out?
Yes. It would
INSURANCE, career, CAREER, STL.com, insurancecareerstl.com. Go there now. Back to the podcast.
And wait, insurancecareerstl.com.
Back to the podcast. What's the medical bill after a fight?
I don't know. Depends on what happens.
You're going to find out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Could be zero. Could be a little bit. It could be expensive. Have you ever seen a fight where they had to take someone off with an ambulance, take them out?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Broken leg? What?
It happens all the time in the UFC. All the time.
I
The higher the level of competition, the more risk you're going to take.
Interesting.
Which is why they need to be paid more.
Yeah. Well, they hit harder. They're better.
Yes. It's getting to a point
Joe
where
Rogan's
people
kick
are
is
getting
scary. If
really
people
good.
are actually kicking like that, that's crazy.
Yes, and here's what's going to happen too. There's going to be more boxing technique that is going to be applied in MMA, I think. And because a lot more MMA fighters are training boxing more, like Ilya Taporia, he's about to fight Max Holloway.
Well, the
They're
best
both
female
very
fighter
good
in the
boxers.
world ended up not being the best female fighter in the world because she couldn't box.
Yeah.
Ronda
and Holly
Rousey.
Holm was a boxer before she went to MMA.
That fight.
She's in the Boxing Hall of Fame.
That fight still to this day is like the most demoralizing thing for
And
Ronda
that's
Rousey
the
of all
thing.
time.
These boxers hit harder than MMA fighters because they've been practicing
I remember
this
the training
technique.
video she released of her punching, Ronda Rousey punching, and then
Gotta love
Holly
Ronda.
Holmes.
She did do a lot for women's MMA, so I respect Ronda Rousey.
Oh yeah, she killed it for a while.
I wasn't the biggest fan. I just didn't like how she marketed herself. But that is actually a great example of somebody who could have been marketed in a better way and probably built a better brand because now everybody hates her.
Yeah.
And this is what happens to these fighters. This,
she tried to move to movies. She got in some movies and things like that.
Yeah.
Afterwards, but I haven't seen her.
True.
I haven't seen her in a minute.
But they exploit people in Hollywood too, so
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's the entertainment business.
Depends on the money.
When you turn the fight business into the entertainment business, it's going to become more corrupt.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it is. And that's what's happening in local MMA, regional MMA. It's everywhere now. Not even just MMA. It's happening in boxing. It's happening in kickboxing. It's now an entertainment business.
Yep.
But this is what people need to understand about the entertainment business. If you are in the entertainment business, you need to be paid a lot more money because you have a lot more liability as somebody, a public figure, somebody with a presence.
Sure.
And this is the problem that I have with these fighters doing all this trash talk and ruining each other's reputation and posting it online, where we think it's just fun.
Yep.
We think it's just acting. It's just fun. They're having fun. These are real human beings and this is their mental health that is being affected by this. And it's bad.
But I paid $80 to see him fight.
But what I'm saying is, like, their reputation is not just being tarnished while they're competing. This goes beyond competing. They can't get jobs because of things that are said about them, or trash talk with their opponent, things like that.
Yep.
Because it's all on the internet now. It's all being clipped. It's all everywhere. So everything they do is publicized, and that's that comes with some responsibility. You need to behave yourself, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these people are getting punched in the face almost every day of their life. So why are we expecting them to be perfect citizens? Like,
no one.
They need help. These people need help.
I've never expected a UFC fighter to be a perfect person.
No. And really nobody does. But the problem is that now more people are getting involved. So there's a lot of people that are fighting now, and they're not famous yet. Or maybe they are, but they're not on a high level yet. So
it seems like you'd be better off getting famous than going to fighting.
Oh, definitely.
Like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and anyone else that's doing that.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That is the way to do it. Because then you're more protected from all this stuff.
Yeah, you don't.
And that's what I've been trying to explain to these fighters. I've been trying, they think I'm against them sometimes when I'm telling them these things, but I'm just being real, and I'm just trying to help them not get exploited by promoters.
They just need to build their own brand. Then you don't need.
That's what Joaquin Buckley is doing with Solid Foundation.
You don't need a promoter.
Yeah.
Or
he started his own podcast. He's got his own media outlet.
Yeah,
it's killing it.
I don't know why there's just not a business development or salesperson. I know a promoter is supposed to be like a salesperson, but they take a lot of the cut usually.
Yeah.
So it's like build your own brand, and then you don't have to be relying on these people that at the end of the day probably are just trying to make money off of you.
Of course. Yes. And they message me all the time.
But then we still have these people, regional and semi-regional events, and people putting on these fights, and they don't even spend money in marketing themselves.
Because they're cheap. And there's nothing wrong with being cheap.
Is there any money?
I'm cheap.
Is there any money to be made in these small regional tournaments?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Like that, I guess.
Nobody knows how much money these people are making, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Except the people that are involved. So they're never going to tell me how much money they're making. Of course they wouldn't. They're not a public company, so they don't need to. The UFC is a public company, so that's different. But, they're private companies, so I don't have access to that information. But I just can't imagine it's that much, But here's the thing,
how much were they're
putting on shows where amateur fighters are fighting, and amateur fighters don't get paid.
Right.
So that's kind of
But they're charging what, like $30 a ticket?
Oh, they're charging more than that.
50, 100?
It depends on the show. Some shows are a little bit more expensive than others. For example, the boxing show I'm going to this weekend is $25. Okay. So that's not that bad.
No.
Stand-up fight series. I don't remember how much their tickets cost. I can look it up. But Shamrock, I don't remember how much that was when we went.
Let's say you get 1,000 people.
I think it was like $60 a ticket or something like that.
Yeah. But you get 1,000 people, paying it's 5,000.
Math is hard. So that's like $50,000. Yeah, $50,000.
Sorry. Math. Yeah. But a lot of that was volunteers.
But they only usually have like 1 or 2 pro fights on these shows.
Yeah.
So they're only paying usually like 4 to 8 fighters.
Yeah.
They're not paying all of them.
The goal is just fighters build a brand.
But they have to sell tickets.
Yeah. I would just be posting clips of my fights all the time.
Yeah.
Especially if you have decent
good good things that you're doing.
Especially
don't post things that are gonna give your opponent a game plan. That's a huge problem too.
Interesting.
And a lot of the problem
so you almost have to have a fake practice.
Gyms, coaches,
they all film.
They all film.
Yeah.
They all want to use you as advertising,
Yep.
which is fine as long as the fighter is being compensated for that. So if somebody becomes a member of your gym because somebody else saw, advertising, then you should give them like a royalty or something.
Yeah.
Throw them $15
Sure.
or $10 for each new member that they sign up. Then you're giving fighters a source of income, a part-time source of income to supplement. So then they can focus more on training. Hire your fighters to help you grow your freaking gym. Hire your fighters to help grow your promotion. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't use them. Don't exploit them. Like, no.
I just think a lot of them also just aren't good business owners.
No. And that's the problem with here's the thing about martial arts and really any art is that they are usually creative people. And I posted this on Facebook yesterday. Creative people operate differently, and we have strengths and we have weaknesses. My strengths are going to be different than yours. My weaknesses are going to be different than yours. My weaknesses, I am not good at keeping up with paperwork and making appointments and phone calls. So I just need a freaking assistant.
Yeah.
But I can't afford one right now. So we'll get there. I need somebody to help me manage my finances. I need stuff like that.
Now,
but you can't trust anybody when you have a platform.
There's a book that's coming out.
Really?
It's called Don't Be Stupid, something like that.
Don't Be Stupid.
And he was saying...
Who writes it?
This guy was on Patrick Boyle. I watch him on YouTube.
Patrick Boyle, I've never heard of him.
And he had a guy on. His first book was about breaking the code to taking SATs. SAT test. Hold on, let me look. Shit. Is he gonna have it on here? The Adam Robinson is the guy's name. Don't be stupid. How not to be stupid, sorry.
Ah, interesting.
And one of the things he's talking about is what you talked about. And he would say that hiring an assistant is stupid because that's not fixing the problem.
Yeah, but I do think you should play to your strengths sometimes.
Sure. But he would argue...
Because I've been trying for so long.
He would argue
to fix it, and it ain't fixing. So it's like, dude.
He would say that there's other distractions or other stuff going on that is not allowing you to do what you need to do.
Yeah, because I'm doing my art. I'm creating. That's why. And that's what I was getting to. Because artists, we want to create. We want to spend our time creating. We don't want to spend time doing that bullshit. That's for somebody else to do because they're better at it. Why would I do it when I can use my skill, leverage my skills to make money? And like,
you just have to do it now. Just not in the future.
Yeah.
So he was given an example of how musicians would leave like a $3 million guitar in the back of a taxi. And that they started hiring an individual just to look over their instruments. But he's like, that's being stupid because that's not solving the problem.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you are leaving a $3 million guitar in the back of a taxi cab, there's bigger issues going on with what the hell you're doing.
That's fair.
So that's how he gave the example. And I was like,
okay. I'm with you there.
He was saying that everyone looks at things the wrong way. In terms of being like figuring out what the actual problem is.
Oh, I see.
So the book's coming out soon. I just watched this YouTube video yesterday. I only watched like half an hour of it, but him talking was
here's the
interesting.
Problem,
how looking at it.
The problem is, so when I start making enough money from creating, then I don't I probably will have more time and space to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just the problem. I think I'm just underpaid.
That's fair. As
Yeah.
as most of the people
I mean, I
are
work
out there.
2
yeah.
jobs right now.
Yeah.
And like on the weekends, like this weekend I did 21 hours of Instacart deliveries.
Does that make the most money?
No. I
No,
just
I
do
mean, out
whatever
of-
I got to do to make money.
Out
I
of
mean,
all
it's-
of the delivery services, have you tried them all?
Yeah, once you build a tenure with Instacart, then
You get paid
it's
more?
better, yeah.
Better than DoorDash?
Yeah.
I feel like DoorDash people don't tip worth shit, so how are you making any money?
DoorDash to me was a little bit too fast paced, where it felt like really
Rushed?
transactional and
Yeah.
like just too like. And I know I sound ridiculous talking about doing deliveries like this, but it's it's a real job, and like
Yeah.
I don't understand this whole superiority complex too with people. Here's another rant for you. So
Tell me, what do you got? The Instacart rant. I've only used Instacart one time
you
'Cause I
should
use
use
it,
it, you'll probably get me as your
'cause I-
driver.
because I got free. I got like a free like $20 or something for signing up the first time, and I was like, all right. But they called me like 4 times saying we don't have this, and I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to take a phone call every
that's
5
why,
minutes.
That's why my customers love me, because I will just find something that is the same thing. If I can't find something that I know is like an adequate replacement for their item,
Yeah.
then I will contact them. Or if there is no other option, I will just refund it. I don't need to bother people the whole time I'm shopping.
It seems like Fresh Time just doesn't have their stuff connected well to Instacart.
No, and I tell the customers too, like, hey, just so you know, this store is notorious for being out of stock of these certain, certain items.
Yeah.
So if you want these, like, just know that, like, you're probably not gonna get it, but like, you could try.
Yep.
And then I'll let them know, like, hey, this is how things work. So that way, you give a little bit more power to the consumer, and they have a better experience. But
I ended up getting screwed on steaks.
I'm sorry.
I was getting
You should have had me as your driver.
I
then
I
that wouldn't
ordered
have
these
happened.
steaks that were on sale. Of course, they didn't have them. She's like, these are good replacements. I'm like, get them. And then they're these skinny, horrible. I'm like, no.
I do kind of enjoy it though. I don't like working the long hours so much, but I'm just doing that to try to get ahead
Yeah.
and try to pay off some debt. So that's my motivation, is just to, get my finances in order, get everything in order so that I can really like build my life and my, dream business, my dream life and all of that, which I know is going to take a lot of work. And I know it's going to take a lot of sacrifice, which is why I'm sacrificing so much right now. And that's why this fight's really important and why it motivates me so much, because fighting requires sacrifice. And that's what it's taught me. And so I'm learning how to kind of navigate through other situations in life from my experience with training boxing. So getting back to the
Do you want to
Instacart
punch
story.
things more now?
Yeah, a little bit. Not people. But like whenever I get in a mood, I'll go hit I have a heavy bag in my basement. I'll
There
just
you
go
go.
hit the bag for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't worry about technique. I don't worry. And that was another thing that I wanted to talk about. And I'll get back to my Instacart rant in a second and remind me. So I want to talk about the content. So I only create content pretty much at home.
Yep.
I've created a little bit of content. Maybe I'll take a picture here and there at the gym, just so people know where I train and help my gym, support my gym.
Yeah.
If they're helping me, so I want to help them. But I'm not gonna heavily advertise it unless I'm being compensated.
Yep.
So I create content at home, and I will just like hit the heavy bag or whatever, and I don't focus on technique when I do that, because why would I want to show people my actual technique?
Sure.
Like, no,
Sure.
I'm not going to show you what I've been working on. So I just have fun.
Yeah.
I just hit the bag, have fun. Yeah, I might not have my hands up the whole time. Yeah, I might, whatever, but I don't care, because
Right.
I'm just releasing. That to me, that's not training for fighting. That to me is just training for conditioning and just to have fun and release. So there's two types of training, basically. But that's the training that I film, because that training doesn't give away any of my game plan. So
Yeah, because it's not.
that's what fighters should do, guys.
It's not rehearsing.
Right.
So same with. I was just talking about this guy. Same thing. He was saying there's a difference between practicing and rehearsing.
Yes.
Because as close as you can get to the real thing is the only way to train for it at the end of the day.
100%.
Which is why You like David Goggins, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think he lost that fight.
Tony?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that?
Because instead of focusing on fighting, he was focusing on whatever David Goggins was telling him to do.
Yeah, he was doing like all the like running. He overtrained.
David Goggins
But
doesn't
here's
train
what
fighters.
here's what I'll say about David Goggins.
He got in way over
Hector
his head.
Lombard was talking shit about my boy David Goggins, so I'm going to say something about this.
I'm not shitting
I
on
love
David
Hector.
Goggins. That was just a bad decision for both of them.
No, but I'm glad you brought that up
And
because I wanted to talk about this.
He
so bad.
leaned too far into his. I feel like
he went too far. He lost people, but here's why. So David Goggins is misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
He's very misunderstood. David Goggins, when he started, he wanted to get people to like just do hard things.
Yeah.
Because that's what our country needs right now.
Mm-hmm.
We need people that aren't pussies.
Yeah.
Stop.
Fair.
What are people doing?
I say this all the time.
And it's not even in this whole thing with like these men that are like, I'm an alpha male. I'm a high value man.
We're Sigma males.
What?
Sigma male only.
That is the goal as a guy.
Sigma
is the move. Sigma males are the move. Alpha males are out. So
Sigma's in, baby.
Sigma's in, alpha's out. You heard it here first.
Let me look up Sigma male definition.
Because a lot of these alpha male guys like Andrew Tate are scumbags.
Yeah. Well, they just take advantage of women.
Yes.
They're back in jail, I think. And also, Abin Preach just did a whole video on them talking on camera, Andrew and his brother, multiple times about like
he's an actor.
Dating 15, 16-year-olds.
He is an actor.
What do you mean?
A Hollywood actor.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Dude, like people are dumb.
Yeah.
Do you guys really think that the internet is real? It's not. Let me tell you that.
Have you watched The Matrix?
Ain't real.
I just watched the whole Matrix series.
The
so
the only people on the internet that are real are the ones that don't have like any followers. those are the people you want to talk to on the internet.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk to the people that have shit tons of followers because they're
true.
not real.
That is true.
And there's probably somebody
That's why I don't
running
have
their
a shit ton of followers. I need to become fake.
I'm talking about Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, no.
YouTube, if you have a lot of followers, that's credibility, in my opinion.
I agree.
I think YouTube,
except for Connor Murphy,
you
who I
can't
just showed
hide anything on YouTube. People will expose you so freaking fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why YouTube is the best platform right now, because it protects creators from being accessible to the general public. You can't message people on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can comment, which I think comments should be fact-checked.
Who's going to fact-check them, though?
I don't know. But if let me take that back.
I was about to say, you're never going to do that.
If the video is fact-checked, like the podcast, like for Joe Rogan's podcast is fact-checked, right? Why shouldn't the comments be fact-checked?
Why should a podcast be fact-checked? Who gives a shit?
I know! It's art!
Yeah.
That's the thing. Here's the problem. People came into podcasting and they tried to turn it into a business.
Yeah.
And that's great. And that's cool. But do that over there.
Yeah.
Let us keep doing our thing with like podcasting is an art form.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a business. It's not a business for me.
Yep.
I do not want to profit off of my podcast necessarily. What I do want is to create video content with my podcast for social media platforms.
Yep.
And that's cool. That's great that they pay creators money to do that. And Spotify now has video. So because I like editing. That's the creative fun part to me, is the editing and just
I'm glad I don't edit.
Making my own brand, and like it's fun.
Maybe I'll have to try.
But just because you enjoy doing something and you're passionate about it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be compensated for it. So you have to be careful as an artist.
Yeah.
What you give to people. And this is something I've learned through experience. I went through a time where I was doing
artists
a
get
lot
screwed.
of shit
Graphic
for free.
designers. A lot of these people don't make any money. Yeah.
Because people think like, oh, my friend does this, so it's like, and I've been there. I've been like, oh yeah, my buddy does this because I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to support them. But then you don't realize that you are kind of screwing them a little bit.
Yeah.
And you should not do that.
Yep.
You just need to be self-aware. Like, you just need to be self-aware and realize that we're all fucked up.
Yeah.
We are all fucked up, okay? Because our country
just a little bit.
is fucked.
Just
That's
a little bit.
why. Because our mental health is horrible in this country because of the internet and social media, how it's affected people. And so we're trying to correct it. And I think that if we all just stop arguing on Facebook, that we will get through this.
We like to argue. We have takes. We have opinions. Come on, let us talk. So
if you
hold on.
see something and you don't like it, you can just keep scrolling.
Yeah, that is true. So
but
we didn't get to talk about Zuckerberg. So did you see that Zuckerberg reiterated that he would not make another contribution to support electoral infrastructure via the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, his philanthropic group? Past donations totaled more than $400 million and were made to local nonprofit groups, including Chicago-based Center for Tech and Civic Life. They were intended to make sure local election jurisdictions would have appropriate voting resources during the pandemic, but he added that they have been interpreted as benefiting one party over the other. And now he will no longer make donations.
This is Zuckerberg, you said?
So he flat out said that his donations were helping one group, not the other.
Why are these people not in jail?
I don't know.
Can you explain to me
I just think it's crazy
why
that
these people are not locked up in a cell? What the fuck, dude? That is fucked.
There's something to be like. People argue that,
and I am not even a Republican.
Well,
just so people know, and I'm not liberal either. I am libertarian.
Do you think that it should be a town square where people are able to say whatever, but then everyone's able to say whatever, besides essentially, let's just say, violence?
Here's what I will say.
Because, like, how do you put a limit at what you can and can't say? Like,
you shouldn't. But here's what I think about the internet. There are a lot of people that are on the internet that are trying to be anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
They're civilians, if you will. Regular people on the internet.
NPCs.
I'm not trying to sound like I am like a powerful force or something. But I do have a platform, and I have multiple platforms. I have a YouTube platform. I have 2 channels on YouTube.
Yep.
And I have a Facebook account.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Instagram account.
Yep.
I have a TikTok. I have actually 3 other YouTube channels that I don't really use that I may use at some point. I may create content for. I don't know. I have a music channel on YouTube that has like 5 subscribers that I purposely don't share.
Killing it.
Because I'm very self-critical with my music.
Sure.
And it probably will take me a long time to get to the point where I'm ready to like put that out there like for real and go to a studio, record and do all that. And I plan to do that.
We'll put the link in the description.
But you need money to do that. And money is a tool to, as an artist, create.
Mm-hmm. And
so you need outlets, but in order to get those outlets, you have to have money.
Yep.
And so that's why I'm focusing on my income right now. But money is not the goal. Money should never be your goal.
That's
money
what I said.
Is a tool.
Said this like 2 weeks ago about the podcast. To your goals. Yep.
That's the problem. That's the mindset shift that people need to have.
Well, most people do a podcast to make money. Specifically only to make money.
Yeah. That's a problem.
But
that's not good.
Even people here locally.
This is the same thing that happened in the music industry.
Well, I tell people all the time that want to do podcasts, I'm like, you have to want to do this shit to come in, be dedicated, and actually do it. Otherwise, don't spend the money because you're not going to see it back.
No. And there's people that are literally hiring a whole team when they start a podcast. And I'm like...
Yeah, you could just come here to Half Coast Studios.
Yeah. Rent out.
They should raise their prices, so you should probably get locked in before they do.
I think podcasters should start, unless you have a lot of capital.
Unless you have Unless you already have the money. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Whatever. If that's what you want to do with your money, go ahead. Like, I don't give a shit. You're not going to make it back, but whatever. That's cool. Unless you know how to do it on a really high level. That's when you can really make some money. But a lot of people don't know how. A lot of people, here's the problem. They find out what's trending right now.
Yep.
And they do that.
Yep.
But what happens in a year from now? Their podcast fails because they've been doing it the way that you used to do it. And everything's changed. So it's like, yeah, people are just falling behind. Like, there's people that are still not uploading video podcasts to Spotify. A lot of people. That's insane.
It's probably
us. What are you doing?
It's probably us, to be honest.
Like, put your video podcast on there.
Put it on there. I don't know if we're doing that.
See, I'm helping you. I'm helping you make more money.
Hey.
But... and that's what I like to do. I don't need anything.
Watching podcasts on Spotify, first of all, is crazy. I don't listen to anything on. I only listen to music on
No,
Spotify.
Here's why you want
But we get more listeners
Listen
on
to me!
Apple. We get more
Listen to
listeners on
me!
Apple than YouTube, which is
Listen to me!
upsetting. Go.
So, if you put your podcast on Spotify, the video, you can stream it to your TV. That's what
fair.
people do.
That's fair.
They stream it to their TV so they watch it like a TV show.
Yeah.
Because that is what podcasting is. It's
Yeah.
a TV. It's your own TV show.
Yeah.
That's how people need to think of it.
The Eric Brown
It's
show.
not an ego fluff thing. I mean, it can be a little bit. But that, I feel like, is what it is for a lot of people.
That's
and
fair.
it's like, and it can get, here's the problem too. When you start a podcast, it kind of does stroke your ego a little bit if you get like a lot of views on something, or if you get, and you're like, oh, this is kind of crazy. But you have to learn how to like get that.
I feel like I listened to enough podcasts in the past where they just said, don't pay attention to comments and shit. And I laugh now when we get anything. And when I get anything that's negative or anything like that, I don't take it personally at all. I just laugh it off.
Yeah, I can't read them anymore because I'm getting ready for my fight. Yeah. And it affects you mentally.
So when's the fight? October
19th.
We'll give an outro here to the podcast. Where can the people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Bre.Eckert. But YouTube is where I'm focusing right now.
Go to YouTube.
BreBre Talks MMA is the name of my channel. The Future of Fighting is the name of my podcast. Sorry, I drank this drink and it made me.
No, you're good.
My throat.
I didn't notice.
So it's the Future of Fighting podcast, and that is what I'm talking about, is the future of combat sports. Yep. So that's kind of the theme. I am working on, when I start doing interviews again, creating a new platform for that. And I'm going kind of in a different direction with it, but I think people are really going to like it. So that's really cool and something that I've been working on for a while. I'm also working on a solo podcast that has nothing to do with MMA. That is kind of more just me talking about things that are important to me, because I've created a platform. So now I think it's time to use it and do some good with it. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help fighters get paid more. Yep. I'm trying to help creators gain their freedom and be compensated for freaking, like, stop getting robbed by these social media companies. Yep. Like, that is, like, I just want people to have, equal opportunities with making an income, because these people aren't doing anything illegal or immoral or anything like that. Like, they're creating content that they enjoy. Yep. So they should be paid for it if they're good at it. If you're good at something, don't do it for free. You shouldn't, because you will get exploited. So, and I don't know. I didn't want to talk about this until I had done a lot of research and experienced a lot in the community. So now I feel like I'm ready to start really, like, trying to make a difference. Yeah. And
we need more people like that.
Yeah, I think we do.
Most people are just out for themselves, it seems like.
Yes.
All right. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
We'll have to do another one because
we didn't get into tinfoil hats.
We didn't even get close.
I didn't even get to talk about the super yacht that went down in Italy, which is a crazy story. We'll have to talk about it next week. All right. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Bre, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll put all of your links here in the description. As always, please like, review, subscribe.
I got a plug. Hold on. Give me like a minute. Tumi Coco, they're one of my sponsors, and they make hot sauce. They're based out of LA. Jason Fulalove is the chef, and he is really awesome. He's been a supporter of my podcast for a long time, and he's been a sponsor for a long time, so I really appreciate him. He's kind of been there since the beginning, since I started my podcast. He discovered me and really liked my content. He's a big MMA fan. So we love people that love MMA. That's our thing.
And we love hot sauce. So.
Yes, and it's all natural, no preservatives. So check it out. Tumi Coco.
Tumi Coco, TUMIE Coco, COCO.com.
Yes, I'd also like to plug Lauren Tripp Eichling Med Spa in New Melly. She is amazing. She's been an absolute godsend. I have lupus, so and a lot of people know that already. So that's why I didn't really talk about it. But she has helped me a lot with that. She's very knowledgeable. She's she's got an amazing med spa. She's a great resource and just somebody you definitely want to know. And she's really, it's not that expensive to get like vitamin injections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's been really helpful for me. And she didn't pay me to say that or anything. That's just
IV
me trying to support my friends. So
IV therapy is good. Yeah.
yeah. So, and then another sponsor, I'm trying to think of all my sponsors because I want to make sure I mention all of them. Emily Mitchell Harris. I almost said her old last name. She got married. She is a counselor and she is amazing. So, support her. She's also one of my sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have Hayabusa. I have their gloves over there, but that's okay. I've posted enough about them, so I don't need to show you the gloves, but I do have them. But Hayabusa is another sponsor of mine. They are fantastic. They make amazing combat sports gear. So MMA, kickboxing, boxing, you name it.
Yeah.
They make it.
Yep.
So they truly do cater to the combat sport athlete, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Their shoes are really comfortable. I have really bad issues with my feet, so that really helps. And then their gloves are amazing too, especially if you have joint pain like me. Very, very helpful for that. And then also I have Mark Lee, Farmers Insurance. He is one of my sponsors. I love Mark Lee. He's been a great mentor of mine. Too. Yep, we all love Mark. So I started working for Mark in 2019, and he's just been a great mentor for me, just like learning about business, learning about navigating certain situations in life. And he's a great boss. So I really appreciate Mark Lee and his support. He's also one of my sponsors. And then I'm trying to think, I feel like I'm forgetting someone. I think I got actually MedSpa, Tumi Coco, Mark Lee.
It's all the time.
Hayabusa.
No, I'm just kidding.
Inner Animal, Sam Primo.
Inner
check him
Animal.
out. He is an adaptive athlete as well. He is in a wheelchair.
Okay.
And he's a bodybuilder.
Interesting.
And he's very good at it.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And he's got hands too. I saw him hitting the heavy bag in his wheelchair.
Yeah.
With no gloves on, and he can hit. So, yeah, he's a problem. If he ever does combat sports, watch out, dude. Watch out for that guy. That guy is a monster.
It should be a handicap league.
He makes David Goggins seem soft.
That's
real.
fair.
He's an animal. So that's why his brand is called Inner Animal.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to show love to all the people that have helped me get where I am.
Yeah.
So that's all my sponsors are people that I actually know. And people that I've had relationships with for quite a while and that have been with me since the beginning. Like Hayabusa, they knew who I was before I even started podcasting.
Yeah.
So
our best sponsor is Half Coast Studios. We're sitting in it.
Yeah.
They take care of us.
Yeah.
If you need a podcast in St. Louis, come here.
Check them out. This is a great studio. It actually really is fucking awesome.
And not the last thing, the best thing of all, Vi Media, the best damn marketing company
Hell yeah.
in the world. Why not? Can't.
I feel like I just talked so fast. I don't know if I've ever talked that fast in my life.
Go to vi.media and, of course, like, review, subscribe, share with a friend. We appreciate everyone's support. We'll see ya.
I love you guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our friends over at Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a job or to own your own business under a brand that everyone and their cousin is familiar with, Mark Lee with Farmers Insurance of St. Louis is recruiting insurance agency owners here in St. Louis for their Farmers Insurance Mentorship Program.
And as many of you are aware, Garrett and I have owned quite a few successful and award-winning businesses over the years. And in a past life, one of those was a farmers insurance agency out of Chesterfield, Missouri.
Eric and I know firsthand how hard it is to start a business under a brand that no one has heard of and convince consumers and businesses to trust that you're an authority figure in your industry.
And as many of you know, we own an award-winning marketing firm, Vi Media, the one that Garrett was just discussing. And building that company's reputation literally took years. We're still building it to this day, and it's been 8 years in the making. However, with the Trusted Farmers Insurance Agency name on the building, we got started when we started our Farmers Insurance Agency. The trust was already built and has been for 96 years.
And if you can't do math, that means Farmers Insurance has been around since 1928. Luckily, you don't need to be a human calculator to get rich as an owner of your very own Farmers Insurance Agency.
Nope. All you have to do is reach out to the one and only Mark Lee, the leader of Farmers Insurance in the greater St. Louis metropolitan area.
That's right. So ensure he continues to sponsor our show and your favorite podcast, the St. Louis podcast, by quitting your job today and calling Mark Lee. I wouldn't even wait for him to answer your call. Call your boss now, quit, and become your very own business owner.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com. That is insurancecareerstl.com. Should we spell it out?
Yes. It would
INSURANCE. Career, CAREER, STL.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. Go there now. Back to the podcast.
And wait, insurancecareerstl.com.
Back to the podcast.